what is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a 2012 mixtape by Lil Durk. Basically, this product is called Life Ain't No Joke, and it came out in the fall of 2012. So the thing about this particular product here is Lil Durk had been building up some acclaim and buzz in like the mixtape scene like the early 2010s as far as those fairs can happen. This is one of his initial ones. This might be like his third or fourth within those particular type of appeals. I know he had dropped mixtapes as far back as like 2011 as far as those fairs kind of particularly happen, but this is some pitch just behind the concept as mixtape drill was kind of in its prime with folks like Chief Keef and Fredo Santana, Lil Reese, some of those type of folks in like the Chicago drill area, and just other folks like obviously like Waka Flocka, Yo Gotti, Meek Mill, some of those type of folks within the pitch. So this is definitely a capital era for like Datpiff, mixtape type fair pitches like that. And this is one I didn't know about as much full bound back in those particular days, but still some excellent type fair to kind of fuck with this here. This pretty much went platinum on Datpiff, got over 250,000 downloads. That was as of 2022, so as a pitch behind as far as those fairs gonna happen. Definitely a pretty good Datpiff staple within the fairs. Easy enough to kind of stay here within these pitches. Basically recommended every song out of the 15 songs on here minus the intro, but even the intro is really not that bad within the pitch behind. I'd have to say I just don't know the commonplace of how often I'd listen to 52 bars as far as those fairs gonna happen, but it is another dark kind of swarming type one within the pitch, just like some snack run type fair and pitches like that, just a little bit more concentrated. But I look within the pitch, this mixtape simple enough, it's gonna get a 10 out of 10. No, just kind of saying that right off the bat, but it's just the pitch that this is just primary Datpiff type fair. This is just primary Datpiff type fair within pitches like that. So thing about it, this would have to say here kind of within the execution behind it, I don't really know if there were like singles off this product. It did have some good guests on here, French Montana, Soulja Boy, and Yo Gotti as far as this first gonna happen. Typical kind of drill conduct within some of those type pitches, but I don't really know. I think Lil Durk was a lot more low key, not low key to the point where he didn't have featured guests, but just the concept of just more low key within a sense as far as saying that I don't know how many full bound music videos and pitches like that he kind of particularly had. I suppose I probably could have done a little bit more research, but just within the pitch, the wiki article does not list the singles off this particular album, so it's just within the pitch as far as saying, but so there's some good type conducts here. Just the pitch behind it has some excellence about the particular appeal, but there are some pop rap type moments I would say within a sense. There's some songs on here like Molly Girl and Days of Our Lives, and songs like Right Here, some of those type ones that have the particular pitch about it as far as saying that there are some ones that kind of break even with like the chart appeal as far as having those aspects for like some makeshift dredge and some of those type ones within the fair behind it. So I'll list some of these type ones as far as like the appeal, but this is kind of the concept about this particular product here is it does have some drill in a sense, but if you're looking for songs like Chief Keef's I Don't Like, some of those type fairs, or 300, some of those type pitches from like the swirl of like late 2011, 2012 type mixtape type fair where drill is kind of in its prime in like a capital sense. It's kind of on here, but it just kind of goes back and forth. It's just kind of the pitch that, you know, some of these folks, these drill rappers that kind of did it in terms of like the harrowing ones, when you think of like a true drill classic like Hard in the Paint by Waka Flocka or I Am Not a Star by Rick Ross, and that just burrowing kind of energy, it doesn't really have that particular kind of ferociousness apart from like the song Rida, and maybe there might be another song on here I'm forgetting, like maybe Homicide and Ryder are like the two ones that have like the most ferocious kind of drill on here within a sense, but for the most part you just look after it. This is a pretty balanced type mixtape within the concept of getting towards it, but that's the good concept about it as far as those first gonna happen, just having the balance. I mean, easy enough to say it gets a classic here, just me recommending all the songs, but within the pitch, just understand the concept that it has like the carnage definitely on here, but it's the concept that you kind of get it from like different angles as far as this pitch gonna happen. In terms of like this, like I wouldn't say this is like a full bound kind of get shit faced type project within the tone behind, but it's just the aspect as far as saying that you are going to have plenty of moments for smokish and social type spark within the pitch. So it's just kind of concept as far as saying, but I look after it pretty just haunting, just typical type format, just more in like a street soldier type format compared to Chief Keef, some of those type folks. The same aspect of like that haunting kind of harrowingness. Folks like Fredo's not quite as dark as Fredo Santana, not quite as dark and haunting as folks like Fredo Santana and Chief Keef, but probably more haunting than I would say Lil Reese within the pitch behind as far as those particular folks can go. But it's just within the pitch as far as saying that this just kind of takes it from like the more street soldier type aspect of folks like Waka Flocka and folks like YG Hootie, some of those type folks, Slim Duncan, some of those type folks that have that particular mixtape type format. So it's just a good cousin that particular style, excellent type fair. But yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about, just to say some of these type ones based, like I was saying, 14 out of 15 on here as far as those first gonna happen. I already talked about the reasons for not recommending 52 bars, but it is basically still a relative nice one with the pitch. So this mixtape gets a 10 out of 10, like I was saying. Talk about some of these commercial ones on here. I'd say Molly Girl is probably one of the ones that has like the most pop rap type appeal and like turns like a radio standout. I'd have to say it's like a vintage kind of mixtape pop rap starriness kind of get here, just definite glowed up kind of commercial breakthrough. I'd have to say about this one, pretty lit type one. So it's just the fashion, some of those type ones that you would have got from like a trap aspect, just ripped out of 2017, 2018. It's kind of like a primer for that. I'd have to say just kind of the concept as far as how some of those kind of things just kind of go. This is something that kind of lit up like the airwaves and like the more contemporary and kind of rhythmic format back throughout like the mid-2010s and even out to like the early 2020s. Now, a lot of these trap rappers within a sense, if you'll notice within like the early 2020s, especially past like 2021, 2022, folks like Young Thug, Lil Durk is in prison. Young Thug just got out of prison. Lil Baby hasn't had too good of comfortable times within the past couple of years. So some of these type of folks that were representing that particular style across the past 3 or 4 years within the pitch, especially circa February, March of 2025, is just a little bit more in like the wounded kind of stage. It's not as full bound, but just I'm questioning what's going to replace trap or even drill within some of those type pitches. But this, songs like Molly Girl and Days of Our Lives were like some good primers for some of those type pitches. And there are other ones on here that do feel like they are more ripped out of 2016 and 2017 more so than actually 2012 when this particular came out. So this is pretty trendy. Another one that's pretty trendy to that particular style is Disappearing. But just to talk about, before I get to Disappearing, I'll talk about Days of Our Lives. It's like a dredgy kind of mixtape makeshift to kind of get here. Just good basic radio grab, I'd have to say. Just definite song to get to biz and just some of that traffic within the sense behind it. So just that typical kind of sludge like a dredgy ass day if you have more blue collar type formats just with the pitch behind it. Just kind of concept of this Lil Durk meeting you halfway within some of those type of concepts, just having like those particular typical kind of commerce type vibes of just like a scuzzy kind of day and just the after effects of like that frustration as far as those first gonna happen. Just real nice typical type one, like a trap type format, same sort of fare as Molly Girl within the pitch behind it. Real nice ones there. But yeah, back to Disappearing. This is a nice one within those pitches, like a red hot and exhilarating kind of trap commotion kind of get here. Just definitely like a trendy kind of mid 2010s early bird. I'd have to say about this one. Just definitely feels like some of those folks, Future, Migos, Moneybagg Yo, some of those type folks in particular, just a good song to ride to as far as those pitches kind of go. So yeah, Disappearance, a real nice riding around type one within the pitch. Definitely some bass thump within that particular fare, I'd have to say. And then basically Animal is a nice one, another trendy type one to like the mid 2010s as far as those first can happen. Just feels ripped out of like years way later than that as far as those pitches can go. It's like a glittery kind of trendy mid 2010s trap primer, I'd have to say. Definitely reminds me of like Migos, Young Thug, some of those type folks, and like the IG kind of days of just like more just Instagram stunt type music within the pitch behind it, some cruise runs within some of that definite mess hall type tune. Just feels like something that like basically definitely like Lil Baby, Young Thug, some of those type folks would have done just like in more Instagram stories, pitch like that, just some cruise runs, just like that stump pizzazz about it. Just definitely glittery type one. Feel just very pizzazzful for 2012, I'd say. Just different, very pizzazzful for 2012, I'd say. Just different type pitch from the store stuff that was going around in like 2011 up to that point in 2012 as far as this pitch can happen, kind of before some of those type of fairs as far as that kind of goes. Real nice one. And there's some further highlights on here within some of these type pitch. There's some further kind of glittery highlights on here. Ride is a real nice one. It's like a dope choice. Song Ride is like a dope choice for like a wide awake kind of buzz single, I'd have to say here. Definite wave maker, I'd have to say about this one. This vintage kind of Flockaveli drill, I feel like within the pitch behind this overall hot song kind of get within some of those type fairs. So this real nice one. Probably one of the most ferocious type ones kind of get within some of these aspects. It's real Lil Durk and like his liveliness just within the pitch behind this. A lot of good connecting kind of energy within the pitch behind it as far as those fairs going to happen. There's some other ones like that on there. There's some other ones that have some good looks within that particular type fair as well, like All White and Homicide. I'll go ahead and talk about Homicide first. Homicide is like a super rev kind of night embrace kind of get here just live. This would definitely be like a live kind of house party kickoff, I'd have to say. Some definite Friday enjoyment, I feel like hearing good song to get crunk to as far as this pitch kind of happen. So yeah, there's definitely some glitzing type fair with the song Homicide. Just good type pitch, real energetic type one, ferocious type bite as far as this pitch can go. Just Lil Durk with some of that just vicious type fair. All White's a nice one. Now this one has like the glow of like some of these particular songs like Rida and Homicide, but it's just kind of within the pitch. It's just a little bit more traverse in mind, just a little bit more on the go as far as those, a little bit more on the go as far as those fairs going to happen. This All White's like a glowy kind of night commerce kind of get here, just typical kind of Flockaveli and early 2010s weaving within some of those type pitches. Definitely good for some Taco Bell runs, just snack commerce, some of those type pitches. As they smoke a couple with your homies, pitches like that. Just get some frozen burritos, Chex Mix, some of those type fairs, pitches like that as far as those aspects going to happen with it. Yo Gotti's on this particular song, so it's just good type aspect for some of that, just good type conduct of that. Life Ain't No Joke, the title track is a nice one as well. This switches up the tone a little bit. This one's not as much ferocious, but it's a good aspect to kind of have here, like some good songwriting. It's like a vintage kind of DJ drama soul. This particular song is like a vintage kind of DJ drama soul from like the mid 2000s in a more murky and harrowing kind of sense, I'd have to say. And it's like some brooding kind of bustles kind of get here. So it's just kind of concept of just roping out some errands and pitches like that, just in a more darker kind of traverse type sense. It's really like the aspect, some of this broodiness. Really feels like a Lil Baby mixtape. Some of those that fairs was just kind of the concept of just that DJ drama soul that just has some new vibes about it just with the pitch. So it just nails that particular aspect there. Just kind of out on the back, just kind of out and about in like a brooding sense, just like in a soulful sense as well. Good, nice one to smoke to, but just kind of pitches some of that type fair. Good concept there. I'm On is a nice one. It's like a highlight, kind of early 2010s drill smash kind of get here. Just usual dope mixtape fare it has to say about this. Just some heroin kind of club haze as far as those pitches kind of go. Both songs like I'm On and Fuck 'em are pretty similar type pitches, just with some of that usual kind of club haze, just with the pitch behind it. It feels like typical kind of mixtape drill that you would have got from Datpiff out of 2010, 2011, 2012. Some of that particular fare, just like that. Typical kind of club ambience and sludge as far as those aspects kind of go along with it. Just some good booth type music and pitches like that. Just kind of get some drinks in your system, figure out where the bells are at. Some of those type fares, just with the pitch behind it. It's basic kind of night venue ambience. Good type tone. Good type tone. It's the same thing with Fuck 'em as far as I was saying, like the pitch behind it. This has French Montana. This particular song has French Montana on there as well as far as those aspects kind of go. So it's good type pitch. It's like a consistent kind of mixtape drill heat to kind of get here, just snarling and dark shrouds as far as those pitch kind of having good type tone for that. And this is just out in the evening as far as that particular aspect kind of goes. Some of these type ones, songs like definitely like All White, I'm On, some of these type pitches. I feel like a lot of these just on this particular type fare have that particular just tone of it. Another nice, I mean, obviously like the 52 bars is a pretty good aspect for that same sort of pitch within some of those type tones within it. Them Niggas is pretty nice one. So there's plenty of like these Traverse type ones just within the pitch. It's just like some good snack run type music, just weaving between like the night fair pitches like that. Just getting like hella swishers, some of that, just getting like a box of swishers, some of those type pitches, picking up a good assortment of lighters, some of those type pitches, just kind of checking your phone within some of those type. It's kind of in between, kind of extra time, kind of night commerce within the pitch behind it. Excellent type fare for that. Dem Niggas is a nice one as well. It's like a good street single, I feel like here. Just real talk kind of noise, I feel like, just within the pitch. Just music for the grind, I'd have to say here within some of those type aspects. Just kind of the concept of getting back to money. There's not a super ton of like the hustle songs within this particular product. A lot of this has more recreational and just kind of the conduct. I like the consistent kind of outing type flash. I just like the pizzazz, like what's going on. But there are some moments for like the bustle, just getting towards it. A few of these on here do kind of have some of that like Life Ain't No Joke. And this particular song's like that as well. And it's like some late tasks kind of roping as far as this pitch kind of have. So this one's not amidst like the recreation as much, as kind of more amongst the conduct to still have some tasks to take care of, just the last moments of distance. Maybe if it's later in the night within those pitches and you still have some stuff to do, it's just kind of within the pitch behind. Some good type tones for that. Just good street single, like I was saying. Just feels something ripped out of something that Waka Flocka, Slim Duncan, some of those type folks would have done within those pitches. Yo Gotti. There's some further ones on here like Eater Remix. This says Soulja Boy on here. Good type pitch for this one. It's like a stock kind of haunting mixtape drill, kind of get within those aspects here. Just the vintage kind of Durk and like his element, I had to say, within some of these type fares. Plenty of these hits on here, like I was saying. Songs like Fuck 'em, Them Niggas, some of those type ones that I had to say. It's like definitely a good one to smoke a couple too. So there's plenty of good smokish type songs within some of those type pitches. Have said that within the pit. Definitely have to continue to say that within those pitches. Just the aspect of really getting some smoke ladenness, just with an aspect for as hard. Definitely get some smoke ladenness, just with an aspect of just being able to do some of these type moments, just to be hella tore up within those pitches. Good type tone. Not as many like pounding shots type songs that I'd say within the pitch. Not as much Red Cup type music compared. I think from what I remember, I need to kind of throw like Lil Durk's 2013. I think it's called Sign to the Street, something like that. His 2013 mixtape that I reviewed back in November. I need to throw more of that on mic. Unlike my new MP3 player, was just within the pitch as far as saying that particularly had some fares, but this is a lot more just kind of more 3-6 Mafia kind of ground level, this kind of street bustles within the pitch, but it's just kind of concept. It does have some moments for like the smokage with your pals and talk about runs pitch like that. Good type tone. But I don't know if I talked about action. There's a couple more I haven't talked about, like action and right here, so I'm going to talk about these, then we'll get to the score like I was saying, but once again, it's a 10. But yeah, action is like a gnarled and vicious kind of trap boiler, it had to say. Just reminds definitely of Chief Keef haunts as far as those pitches kind of go with it. Just some night stroll, definite night stroll type music kind of get here, just an overall hit. But yeah, this is one of the few songs, action's one of the few songs that just has more of that traditional kind of gothic type sense that like Chief Keef kind of particularly does. Like I said, this more street soldier, kind of street album type particular format within it. It's a little bit more Flockaveli-esque within the pitch. Does have some of that ghastliness, definitely some good haunting type fare for September, October, but just within the pitch, just a little bit more kind of just like these particular songs just have a little bit more stone cold type sense within the pitch behind, but some excellent type fare here, just vintage Chief Keef type style within this vintage Chief Keef type style within the pitch, like songs like Action, some of those type ones. I'd probably say Eater Remix. I'd probably say songs like Eater Remix and Homicide are some similar type ones within that fashion as well, but it's just within the pitch behind it. Like I said, more similar to Flockaveli. And then right here's a pretty nice one within those aspects as well. So it's like in the midst of the night wind kind of weaving. Right here is like in the midst of the night wind kind of weaving to kind of get late errands done. I'd have to say within those pitches, just some productive commerce as far as those pitches kind of go. So it's just a good concept for some of these type ones. There's another song I was talking about that kind of had that particular fare. I would say the songs like Action are kind of like that, and like there's another one that was kind of within that particular pitch that, oh yeah, songs like Them Niggas as far as those pitches kind of happen. So just between some of these more amidst like the makeshift pitches like that, just kind of concept of a little bit more busybodiness within the concept of it, just not quite as straightforward within the concept, more recreation type fare, just a little bit more bustle than productive, just kind of more with drive amongst it on the grind within the pitch. Some songs like Right Here, Them Niggas are some good type ones for those pitches. So it is kind of amidst like the work cycle and more kind of rugged type sense within the pitch, but it does have those makeshift type moments like Molly Girl and Days of Our Lives as well. So that's the pitch behind it. So the score gets a 10 out of 10. The social score will probably get like, I would say like a 9 into the social score would get like a 9.75 out of 10 just within the pitch, because I look after here just within the tone. It does have these songs they hit pretty heavily, but it's just kind of concept. There were some pop rap kind of moments for like some breakthrough on here, at least attempts. It does give you like the occasional makeshift song, some of these type pitches. Maybe it's a little light on like the house party songs, apart from songs like Homicide and All White, some of those type ones, maybe Ride to some of these type pitches. But look after here, the concept of it, it's a little bit more driven than I realized within the pitch behind it. It has the aspect of just being more amongst like the consistent bout that lifetime mentality that like folks like Waka Flocka, Yo Gotti, some of those type folks have within the aspect. Not to say like that's a problem within the pitch, but it's not. The quickness factor about this particular album is just more amidst like the rope up of just like the consistent push more so than like the tone of like cutting loose a little bit. Now it's not to say like the concept that this cannot be now and get tore up to. It definitely has a smokish moments on here, definitely has some of that particular type fare, but like I was saying, didn't really have a single. The concept, like this is definitely this is just amidst like more hardcore mixtape type format. This was kind of in its early stages. Has plenty of those good excellent type moments. It's just in the pitch as far as like I feel like the moments are on here for like the concept of scooping this up, trying to figure out what to do, but it doesn't have like the consistent kind of like learning curve for the adaptation as far as expressing that within the pitch. So it's just kind of concept you get some of these moments that are like conduits for it, but it's just kind of the pitch that is more in like traditional kind of mixtape kind of hardcore type format back like it was in like the early 2010s when you had to sift through these. So it's just kind of with the pitch, but it does do it. Does it excellently. This is a classic here, like I say, another DatPiff classic within some of those type pitches. This Banner mixtape from 2012 and the early 2010s, the DatPiff classic era. Some of those type pitches I had to say. Like I said, it's a driven type product. Definitely feels like a mixtape version of like Flockaveli, some of those type folks, Yo Gotti, some of those type folks, in particular Slim Duncan, a lot of these ones as far as those aspects going to go. I mean, it's not as, but the concept of it is it's not even like a full bound kind of hustle type product. There is some moments for like the makeshift type fare, just be able to say within a sense, but it's just kind of the concept of it is just a little bit more just amidst like the consistency of just like the usual kind of fare, just like outing type push and pitches like this. It's the lifestyle. It's more of a lifestyle type product more so than just the bustle, like straightforward kind of bustle or straightforward kind of recreation. So it's just lifestyle type products to kind of assist you as like a loud pack for like the goings on, especially in like a more Flockaveli and just more haunting kind of autumn fare. So it does that within the pitch, 9.75. In terms of the future, like Lil Durk is supposedly putting out like his album that he was going to put out back in late 2024 around this particular time. We'll see what happens with that in particular. It's going to be some good type of feel. The album cover really looks brilliant as far as this pitch is going to happen. I just look after it here. Now he is kind of in prison and is kind of, we don't know what's going to happen within those particular type pitches. I do want to get to some more of these type products within the fares behind it, but this is like a mixtape classic, like I was saying, just good type aspects for some of that, and just a bolster type one to kind of get to with like the immediacy of like the DatPiff type era that disc has some of these consistent ones, and this is an easy one to see that.